Hey guys, and welcome to another NBA DraftKings first look for Monday in the league. We've got 6 games on. Before I get into those though, hit that notification bell. Drop the thumbs up. Just hit it. Just hit the thumbs up down below. Drop your comments down below as well as we go along, and let's talk about the first game right now. The first one of those games is the Washington Wizards and the Atlanta Hawks in Atlanta. No spread or total out for this game, but we do know that Brad Beal is out. So, Russ Westbrook at 11,000 bucks. Is there a better option out there? The answer to that is no. He's averaging 78 points over the last 5 games. If you are constructing lineups without Westbrook, I reckon you're doing it pretty wrong. There's going to be value across the board in other spots. Hull Neto at 4,500. Someone's going to have to. Westbrook can't take every. He's going to try, but he can't take every shot that Beal would take. So Neto's got some value. 3,700 for Davis Bertans. He's an option. Rui Hachimura. Now he thrives on getting usage, and he's going to have a big bump here at 4,900. He's in play. How many more minutes is Ish Smith going to get at 3,300? That's not a bad option to me. Smith's averaging 14 over the last 5 games, but he could easily get 20 points here, and I think there's value in that. There's a lot of options opening up. For the Hawks, Tony Snell is listed as questionable, so I would imagine they go with Kevin Huerter again starting, and Huerter at 4,900 has some upside value. I like Bogdanovic a lot at 7,000. That seems just way too cheap. I don't know why he's priced down at 7,000. Johnny Collins at 64 is more GPP. I don't really trust that. And 84 for Clint Capella is probably also too high. I like Trae Young at 9,300. I do think there's some value in him, even though it's his position already filled. I think we could put him in over Ish Smith into that scenario. There for the Atlanta Hawks, the Italian Cocktail Gallinari, he's played well. 39 average over the last 3. And at 4,800, there is some real value there, I think, in using Gallinari as an option for us. The next game we take a look at is the Pacers and the Cavs. The Cavs coming off another victory. They wish it was a victory. Another loss. Maybe they don't wish it was a victory. 10 straight the Cavs have lost now, which is obviously horrendous. They're on a back-to-back taking on the Pacers. Isaiah Hartenstein, Darius Garland, they missed. Chetty Osman, they missed the game on Sunday. I don't imagine they play. Well, for the Pacers, Malcolm Brogdon and Jeremy Lamb, they've missed the last week or so they're in doubt. And it's going to change quite a bit of stuff here. Kevin Love has been relatively poor, I would say, but at 6,000, maybe you'd look at him, but given it's a back-to-back, probably not. Jarrett Allen's not worth that salary. Well, 3,900 for Ed Sumner. If we see that Brogdon is out, Sumner started last game at point guard, and I do think that Sumner at that sort of salary, in a point guard role, his salary's come down as well. Like if he gets 20 points at 3,900, I think that's not bad. McDermott's at 42, not really keen on that. While Isaac Okoro, after that big game a couple of games ago, has really struggled. And even with Osman and Garland out on Sunday, he didn't do a huge amount there. I do like Domantas Sabonis at 10,600. He is just racking up stats at the moment, putting up some really, really big performances, averaging, 59 over the last 3, while Levert at 9,000 is also averaging over 50 points, and he has to be an option for us in this scenario. Garland at 8,100, not interested. Sexton at 83, or Garland I don't think is going to play, and Sexton at 8,300 also, I think, is probably a little bit too high. The next one we look at is the Pelicans. They are taking on the Memphis Grizzlies. This is a back-to-back for New Orleans. They had a big comeback to beat the Hornets on Sunday, so maybe there's some fatigue there. The Grizzlies are 10-point favorites. The total is 223. That is a huge spread for Memphis. I don't know why it's that high. Steve Adams and Brandon Ingram both didn't play on Sunday. I don't expect either of them to play on Monday. They could, but I don't expect it. DeAnthony Melton's at 3,700. This is the beginning of a 5-game week for the Grizzlies. So maybe they're going to be careful with the minutes. I wouldn't feel confident with using Melton, but with Grayson Allen ruled out, his value does increase, as does Kyle Anderson's at 5,800 because they just slide Anderson to the 3 and play Jaren Jackson at the 4. 8,200 for Jonas Valanciunas. It might seem like a lot, but the guy's roasting guys at the moment. He's averaging 42 over the last 5, which looks pretty solid, and I think his value is okay here. Well, James Johnson at 46, I think works pretty well. 83 for Ja Morant is too high. Lonzo's at 8,000, probably also a little bit too high. Well, Jaren Jackson at 6,000. Now that is a price I can get behind. I think that looks pretty good. Nickeil Alexander-Walker in his first game back played well, but unfortunately DraftKings has him priced at 6,500, which is just insanely high. There's no way I want to use that. But what I do want to use is Jackson Hayes, who blocked 6 shots on Sunday. If Adams is out again, Hayes at 4,500 looks to me to be one of the better options that is out there on the board at this stage. The next game is one of the only other games, again, that we do have a spread or total for. That is the Milwaukee Bucks and the San Antonio Spurs. The Spurs are 7.5-point underdogs at home, while the total is 234. The beginning of a 5-game week for the Spurs, a back-to-back as well to kick things off. Same for the Bucks, a 5-game week. So do they look to rest players like Rudy Gay or Patty Mills? I think the Bucks will more rest guys on Tuesday when they take on the Magic. But we've seen DeRozan, we've seen Murray rest on some back-to-backs as well. So just be aware of how that Spurs lineup looks. Lonnie Walker's at 4,200. We know he's a volume scorer, and if we do have absences for DeJounte or DeMar, that is going to boost his value. Keldon Johnson's at 44, and let's be honest, he's been dreadful. He's averaging 15 points over the last 3 games, which is not even enough to cover 4,400, but he's not a complete write-off. I like Yanni at 10.8. That's pretty strong. While Pirtle at 5.2 also, I think is okay. I'm not sure the upside is particularly high, but I think it's all right. DeJounte Murray's production's been well down. He's averaging just 26 points over the last 3, and his salary's come down to match that. Now, I do think there is a chance that he can have a 40-pointer here, and at 7,200, I would put him into the GPP pool. 83 for Drew Holiday's all right. I just worry that maybe they ease off on him a little bit, and same goes with Chris Middleton at 8,400. I wouldn't be too gung-ho about using those blokes. The next one we take a look at is the Utah Jazz and the Golden State Warriors. We know that Donovan Mitchell and Mike Conley have been ruled out once again. So Georgie Niang, he's going to get another start most likely. Well, Jordy Poole for the Warriors played some pretty good basketball in the last game. At 4,200, there is upside in him. I wouldn't say that it is the best option out there, but there is a little bit of upside in Jordan Poole at that price. Trent Forrest. I know you probably don't know who this bloke is, but he is playing minutes. He's getting 20 minutes a night basically at the moment. He's at 3,300. And if you have a look at his last few games, there are numbers there which are all right. 21, 16, 16, 16, 16. Like at 3,300, 21 points is great. 16 points is not bad. I'm not saying he's a must-roster player, but he's a name that we can't 100% just ignore. Toscano Anderson at 5,000. Eric Pascal's out, so he should be a good for 25 to 30 points. So I like that. Curry's at 10.5, and this dude's just dropping big bombs every game, so we love Steph Curry there at that price. While Andy Wiggins at 69 is probably a little bit too high, and Bogdanovic at 66, I like that with both of the backcourt guys out in Mitchell and Conley. Bogdanovic's usage has been higher, as has Jordan Clarkson, but Clarkson's salary is all the way up at 7,700, which to me is a little bit on the high side. Now, this next game, I don't know. Should I just throw my hands up in the air? Because I don't have no idea what's going to happen with the Rockets. At this point, Kelly Olynyk and Christian Wood are questionable, but if they're in, they're out. We don't know. They're getting big games from Daquan Jeffries and Kyrie Thomas, who are blokes that honestly, majority of people would not even know play for the Rockets. For the Blazers, Melo is questionable with an ankle problem. Hard to consider using him. CJ's at 78, which I don't mind, but this has got absolute blowout written all over it, which does limit your exposure to these Blazers players. But once we hear updates on the Rockets, you got to look at someone like Kenyon Martin Jr., who's at 6,200 and dropped 50 in the last game. There's big minutes coming for him potentially. You got someone like Kyrie Thomas, who dropped 53 last game. Yes, Kyrie Thomas dropped 53 last game, and he's at 5,500. So there could be a big opportunity for him. You got Daquan Jeffries, who had 38 last game at 4,400. It's obviously risky using these players who aren't very good and could see their roles limited depending on what happens with Olynyk and Wood. But if they're out, there is value in these sort of guys, which is, again, it's pretty weird to say that. If you are looking for Jeffries, he's listed as a shooting guard, even though he's more of a small forward, power forward type player. But this is the problem with this point of the year, is that weird stuff happens, weird rotations happen. You're going to get someone like Armani Brooks playing a pretty solid role as well at 4,800. DJ Augustin may start, but I don't think he plays the bulk of those minutes. So we're looking at players like Tate, probably not even as much Tate, players like Martin, players like Jeffries, Thomas, House, maybe Anthony Lamb. There are some weird names and numbers that are going to come out of this slate of games. I can pretty much guarantee you that. I wouldn't be adverse to throwing Anthony Simons into a player pool just in case this game gets out of hand and Simons has to play 25 minutes. That's a real possibility. Norman Powell at 6'1" is probably too high, and I think they're going to do everything they can to limit Yusuf Nurkic, who's at 7,300, and it's just too high in a situation where he might play just 20 minutes, which has been the pattern. In any blowout, they just limit him to 21, 22 minutes. If we look right across the slate, we look at Westbrook as probably the best play out there. I like Lonnie Walker a little bit. Ish Smith's got some value. DeAnthony Melton, Davis Bertans, Rudy Gay, Kyle Anderson, Valanciunas, McCullum, James Johnson, Toscano Anderson, Yanni, Rui Hachimura, Pirtle, Dylan Brooksy Brooks, Steph Curry looks all right as well. George Niang maybe, but not really. And DeJounte Murray and Edmund Sumner look to be okay options for us as well. Guys, that'll do it for me in this show. Don't forget, on the way out, hit the thumbs up, hit the notification bell, hit subscribe if you haven't already, and you can also find my channel in the title and in the description. Josh Lloyd Fantasy Basketball. Check me out over there, guys. We are done here. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. See ya.